Hi. Okay, sorry, it's like gonna be this one's a bit later, I think. I don't know. I'll see what's going on. I've like put it on and yeah, I'm just waiting for it to go live. Yeah, it's gone live. Yeah. Pew pew pew. Anyway, how y'all doing? What's happening? I watched David Crockle. Shout out to David Crockle. He's got like three YouTube channels, but like, and everybody should know him. But he done a really good stream yesterday. I'd put it onto my Twitter. It was like about the world reset. Now, like I'd heard this from my mum, but she hadn't actually said the world reset. She'd actually said like the Great Awakening. She was calling it that, and she was like talking about like how hey Thomas Locke, how you doing? She was basically talking about exactly the same thing that David Crocker was talking about. How like all this chaos across the world. I mean, they've got it in Scotland, like where Black Lives Matter are like kicking off in Glasgow and Edinburgh. They've got it down in Bristol where they pulled the statue and rolled it in at the thing. They've got it everywhere. But like Davey was like explaining it really well how like it's all basically just like from the coronavirus, it kind of came into from that to this. Do you get what I mean? And my mum, like, she knew about it, but like I said, she was calling it like the Great Awakening. But Davy, like, he called it like when you look it up, it's actually like the world reset. And I believe that's true. Like, if you look at the old time, it was like before, it was like more beautiful and everybody kind of took time in what they were doing. The houses, Scotland still got a lot of that, like the art culture, the houses, like the castles, all the beautiful things. And they're just gonna come and fuck it all up. They try, I swear. Like it's so unfair. They took our guns. Like, yeah, we're still under lockdown, Thomas. We're still under lockdown. New Zealand now pretty much free in this country. You're so lucky. No, I'm under complete lockdown. That's why I was like thanking the people like that had donated a few days ago. I was like, look, thank you. Honestly, I was like, it doesn't matter if it's like not much. I said, but it was like it actually helped me because everybody is terrified to leave their house. Like all these norms that are like, oh, I don't want to leave the house. I'll get corona. It's like, yeah, no. Like I've been like just going out doing my thing, but even when I'm out, like nobody's out, and like I try and get my friends to go out, and like they my friends can be pretty cool, but at the same time they're like I don't want to catch corona and blah blah blah, and I'm like yeah, but we're not gonna like social distance whatever, like do whatever. But then, yeah, it's just a pain in the butt. But then when my pals want to get on it, which in Scotland means get a drink. I'll say you want to get on it, then suddenly, oh, they're not scared of the corona, but they're suddenly out drinking and sharing for the same bottle and all that. It's summer over here as well. Like, oh, you should have seen. Like, my hands are all like, as you can see. See, I burnt my hands. I got like some. You can see like, because I tan really well, but like, it's because we're all been in lockdown. Usually, I use the sunbeds, but that's all shut to like first get used to it. But because the sun was so extreme, and I went to my mum's house, and I was in our back garden, and it was so extreme. I had no exposures to sun. I've been locked in a house for 3 months, and then I totally burnt now. I've all peeled on my hands and it's just crazy. But yeah, it's like yeah, no exposure to any sun in 3 months and then boom, exposure. So that's the only time, that's why I just burned like. But yeah, like I mean it's just pissed me off like the fact that it was really, like I said, it was really good watching David Crockle's stream because he can explain it a lot better about how and what the fuck is going on with this, like the corona, and then all of a sudden like this thing. And I find it very strange as well, like the guy that done George Floyd's autopsy is the same one that done Jeffrey Epstein and JFK's. Like what the fuck was that? Like the guys knew each other, like they're getting training from Israel. Like what the fuck? Like, and I'm not saying he's not dead. I know like he's dead obviously, but it's just the fact that I think it was like Dave, the way Davey said it was like good. It was like he thinks that maybe he kind of like signed up and then didn't think he was gonna die, and sometimes your body just shuts down. Yeah, Scottish jeans with sunburn, same here. Yeah, Thomas. The thing is, like, usually I'll get a tan, but the reason I get a tan is because I'll expose myself to the sun in the sunbeds first. I'll like go to the sunbeds, go to the sunbeds, go to the sunbeds. Do you know what I mean? I'm Irish, Scottish Irish. Like you put me in the sun for no reason, I'm gonna fucking burn. You know, like my mum, like a Scot Irish, like, do you know, like they used to think I like they well I don't know if it is, but like people used to say like Irish were our own, we were our own race, like so that means like I'm not white, basically I'm Irish. It was my mum that told me that, like, and my mum has got super based, by the way. It's so cool. Like, remember, like, I'd done a stream ages ago, Thomas, and I was like nearly crying, like, because I was like, my mum's not talking to me. It was Mother's Day, and it was last year, and I'd been out to one of the rallies, and it wasn't me that doxed myself. Like, I never face doxed myself. Like, what had happened was I was in the paper, and they said like that I was a Nazi, this blah 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 blah, and there was pictures of like hundreds of people, but you could see my face like really bad. I was like no, and then my mum saw that like the paper, so like she thought I was like a neo-Nazi and all this kind of shit, and like um, but and I was like, Mum, what the fuck? But the good thing is, since then, like the past year, my mum, she even said to me, like literally on the phone, like about an hour ago, she said, "Do you know what? Like I really think like the past few months, but it's been the past year." She said, "Me and you have got like a lot grown a lot closer together." And I was like, "No, Mum." I was like, "It's just the fact that now you're like." I couldn't give her the red pill. I know it's cringe to say that. I couldn't give her the red pill, right? Like, you can't force someone to take it. But because she saw her own daughter saying this stuff, she was like, okay, she's not crazy. But she's saying this stuff. Like, I was trying to tell her, but when I was saying it a year ago, it was too much for her. And then she started looking into stuff, and all of a sudden, like now, like the way we talk, she goes on about all she knows about the Zionists. She knows about everything. It's brilliant, Tom. It's brilliant having a mum like that. What you saying, Thomas? Didn't you get burnt in December, February here in New Zealand? Oh, you didn't get burnt. Sun is more intense in South Pacific. Well, I don't know. Like, see here, the sun is super intense, Thomas. Like, and I mean super intense. Like, see, because in Scotland, like, it's the same as down in London. I don't know why, but we get like the European sun, and because our like some like I would have like picked or no, I don't know if it'd be picked. I've got like my mother's Irish, so like we've got that. Where's my dog coming? I've got like the Irish blood genes, right? So like I've got Irish in me. I'm half Irish basically, and then I was just lived in Scotland. My mum said it's just because we integrated that well. Um, Wait 2 seconds, I want to read this with Dispatcher. There's a dietary way to prevent sunburn, even for your beautiful Irish and Scottish souls. Learn how to spike your glutathione levels and you can heal in a day. Oh, thank you very much. Because I was using like, you know, like aloe vera. I was in such pain. Like, see, because I'd hurt my back and then I'd had the sunburn. I'll definitely look into that, thank you. But yeah, like I think it's because, like I said, blood wise, blood wise, or however you want to say it, I would be classed as, if people wanted to get like into genes and all this kind of stuff in your blood. Like I would say I'm Scottish, right? But I wasn't born here, and my mother tells me like, no, you're not Scottish, like because she wasn't born there, and like all on my mum's side. Look at my dog. um, or on my mum's side, none of us are Scottish. So technically, I'd be German Irish. Technically, because my dad, like, even though he's American, well, he's dead now, but even though he'd be classed as American because he spoke American, was born in America, my granny and grandpa, like, were born in America. Like, you would think he was an American, but if you trace him back far enough, German, and I was born in Germany. So, like, technically, if you want to be like specific, I'd be German Irish in my blood. But I've lived like mum. I was born in Germany because my dad was in the military, and I was like an army brat, and my mum worked in the Ministry of Defence, basically MI5. Like, but she tells me she was doing like pension funds for like army people that did. I don't know what she was doing. So probably something dodgy because it was MI5, but at least it wasn't Mossad. But anyway, yeah, like, and my dad was obviously a soldier, right? And then the reason they were based in Germany because like there was a lot of bases over there, and then my mum and dad like got married and had me, and then I lived there. Like I only spoke German. Like my first few words were German, and I lived there until I was 2. And then my sister was born like 18 months later, so like I lived there. My sister was born in England, and we lived in Germany till we were 3, but then we moved back with me and my wee sister, but they went across to have my sister in England. And then we moved, hey Jigs, we moved to, when we were in England, we were in Milton Keynes, see the army base there. Hey Jigs, you're 1/4 Irish, the rest is Scottish English, but I sound nothing like them. I have a slight Moroccan accent, even though I'm full British. Yeah, like, see, the thing is, like, if I say to some people, like, when I was, especially with the whole, like, thing, like, when I was going to rallies and stuff, like, people would say, like, and I was talking at these rallies and I'd say certain things, and people would turn around and say to me, yeah, but you're not white, like, you're not British, you're Irish. And I was like, the fuck are you talking about? I've lived my whole life in Scotland. Like, and then they'd kind of piss me off because a lot of Scottish people, we hate they'll hate the Queen. They don't what they're like they want to be like out of the rule. They don't want to be called British. If you call a Scottish person on one side, like if there's half and half, maybe more than half, I don't know. Like if you say to them like, oh, are you British? They'll say, fuck you, no, I'm not British. I'm Scottish. I'm Scot-Irish, and they'll like some of them have never like lived in Ireland in their life, like same as me, never lived in Ireland, but because they've got DNA that's in them, like I was saying about the DNA thing, they just don't want to have anything to do with English, and it's because the way that English talk about us on TV and put us down constantly, and the whole like the troubles and all that kind of stuff, and like the belittling of us and all this kind of stuff. Well, I was gonna say to you guys, that's why, Thomas, because like you're saying you're a 1/4 Irish, like that's people, as Darwin said, like he totally slated the Irish, saying that we were below the Negroes, his words, and that we were like the worst of the worst, and like all alcoholics and blah blah blah. Anyway, fuck him. But the point is, like, apparently, like he'd done different races. Apparently, Irish were a race of their own. Like, so that's why it was the signs like no blacks. No, it was no dogs, no blacks, no Irish, you know? But, like, do you, like, because we were slaves as well, like, and we were starved, like, I mean, the potato famine, like, that was, like, 4 million people died, 2 million fled, 2 million died, sorry. It was crazy. It's like it's mistaking Portuguese and Spanish accents that are pretty distinct. That's so true, John Scott. It is. And, like, see when somebody says to us, like, oh, like, see if I'm in America, like, because my dad was American, I had to go across to America, and they'll come up to the table and they'll be like, oh, you're English? I'm like, fuck no, like, no. And they're like, oh, okay, like, you're British. And I'm like, well, Scottish. You keep saying to them, like, you're Scottish, and they just don't get it. So my mum always is like, yeah, well, she's Scottish, we're Scottish Irish. And then my dad be like, well, I'm German American. And, like, finally they'll get it. They'll be like, so what, you're, like, German Irish? And I'm like, yeah, whatever, but I live in Scotland. Just leave me alone. Hey, so what? I've missed you. Like, I just done a comment on your channel, just, like, see on your last video, just saying, loved the video, and I saw your video with Dusty, and I said I had Dusty on, like, the day before last, and just how cool it was, and just, yeah, like, I can't wait to see you again. But yeah, like, it's really annoying when people, John, like, when they like say to you, like, they mistake it, but they don't realise how much we hate each other. And it's like, the racial contempt against Irish and Scotch was mainly because the political game of the British conquer. That's so true, yeah. Like, we literally, like, have to pay a tax, right? It's called the stealth tax. We have to pay a tax for the BBC, which, by the way, protects paedophiles. So I don't pay it, I refuse. So I'm like, no, I'm not paying for, like, paedophile who protects us, fuck off. Jimmy Savile, like, who was connected to the Queen and all of that. I mean, you really want to do a deep dive on that shit, fuck it off, man. Like, it was really bad. But, like, anyway, like, they basically said they basically make the Scottish people pay for it. And then when you watch some of the stuff on the BBC, they'll, like, totally laugh and say, it's fucking Scottish people want to, like, have build a wall. We've never said about building a wall, by the way. We've just said we don't want it to be under British rule. But like, they fucking let them. Who would care? It's like, and then they just laugh at us, and we have no way to come back from that. Do you know what I mean? They own the media, they own everything. You know who I'm talking about. We don't have them up here. So like there's nothing we can do to come back and say, fuck you. Like seriously, all we can do is just be like, vote SNP, try and get them out. But we all hate SNP, so it's like, what the fuck do we do? But that's so true. Oh, Miss Piggy, how you doing, sweetheart? Oh, I've missed you. But yeah, like, so that's what they do. But so what? Did you see Davy Crocco's chat stream yesterday? Because that's how I started this. It was amazing about the. He started talking, and it was about the world reset. And my mum, by the way, who's so base now, basically said to me, because I was telling her about it, she says, "Oh, what, you mean the Great Awakening?" And I was like, because she was like, "Oh yeah, it's a spirit." My mum believes it's a spiritual battle between good and evil, and she's very spiritual. And she was like, she said she started naming some of these YouTubers, and a lot of them I watch, and I was like, and then she was talking about David Icke and things like that, and like she finally like started like naming the J, like things like that. But she was talking about like the elders of like well the Zionists, like the top ones and things like that, and how like bad they are, and like she's just starting to get into that. Whereas she kind of still says globalists a lot, and like all of them, like so she like when I showed her Davy Crocco's stream about did you see the latter half of it? So what? Oh, it was I showed my mum it. She loved it. My mum loved it. It was so good. Yeah, because I saw you in the chat, and I was like glad to see you. David Crocco is the man. Do you know who I missed? Does anybody know, by the way? Richie. What happened to, you know, Australian Richie? He was brilliant. He did not give a fuck. Like he used to sit there and he'd be like, yeah, I don't like, he did not give a fuck, and he'd just sit there and name the J and like just be like, and he was like, do you know what, he would literally say things that have happened now. Like he was like a kind of a futuristic, like he'd say this is what's going to happen, and how they're going to take your guns in America is they're going to like, first of all he said about the track and trace thing, like he knew about that. Then he started saying about like, and this was like months ago, then he started saying about they were going to have like robot cops coming to the door, and everybody was laughing, he said the first time, but like I think like honestly like maybe not like actual robots, I'm talking about like people with drones and shit like that, like it was Richie, or what the fuck was his last name, Richie, the Australian guy, black hair, quite good looking, he said he was Australian, but he had like, because he looked kind of, see the way like with dark hair, like you could tell he wasn't like born Australian British, if you know what I mean. He said he was some like, I can't remember, it was something that made him like more sallow skin and dark hair. Really good looking guy. I can't remember his last name though, sorry. Really, Enigma Report, yes, thank you, that is it, John. John has won the prize of remembering. Thank you, darling. I could not remember. How good was he? Like, what happened? Does anyone know? Because I'm like gutted I can't find him. Like, he's gone. Bruce Lee posted like, yeah, that's the guy. But do you know what happened to him? Because I used to watch him all the time, and I was in his Discord, and now like everything's gone, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's like they've just erased him from the internet, and I'm like, no, because like him and Davy Crocco were both like they're both like my kind of favourite when it comes to conspiracies and stuff. And then obviously Revenge the Sis, I love them just because like they're like, I know they're more mainstream, but at the same time you can see them in like they know more than they let on, but they don't want like, what's the word, they don't want to fucking shut up their channel. So basically they'll just say certain things, like, but they're fucking super base still, do you know what I mean? But like you'll see like Mersh, or like I've seen Mersh so many times in David Crocco's chat. Do you know what I mean? And like, so he's obviously watching, and like I don't know, but I know that Royce knows a lot more than he says. Do you know what I mean? But they don't want to fuck their channel. I think they're like, I mean, if they've got like over 30,000 subscribers, so they need to like kind of, you know, just sometimes it's better to like, as Nick Fuentes says, like, sometimes like, and I don't agree with everything he says at all, but sometimes it's better to not fucking fuck yourself like Owen Benjamin does, just to prove a point. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, the deliberate reset thing. It's coming, people. Yes, Barry Pease. Rich is back. He's been making videos. Oh, thank you, Jigs. You'll need to show me how and where, like, because I can't find him at all. And Barry Pease, yeah, Barry Pease. Do you know who my mum told? See who told me? My mother. Like, seriously, like, about David Crockett did a stream on it yesterday. So I sent it to my mum, and my mum was like, "Are you talking about the Great Awakening?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, it's a spiritual battle, and they're going to be reset." And I was like, "Yeah, it's the Great Reset." And like, but David Crocker done an amazing stream on it all, and it was brilliant. But yeah, it's coming. It so is. No, because Order comes out of chaos. They're gonna fucking ruin everything. And by the way, it's coming a lot faster than people think. So if you live in America or you live in New Zealand or somewhere with guns, fucking get your ammo. Seriously, if you're white or if you're like right, if you're not left wing like or a communist, then fucking get your ammo sorted. I mean that. Like, get stock up in as much ammo as you can, and just fucking, it's coming, you know? It really is. Royce does. Yeah, Royce is like, yeah, like he basically just he goes like power level, hidden. You but like it's so like because like I've literally came on and been like, you know, wore like badges that are like fucking, and I've had so much abuse from people because they're like, you're wearing a badge that's like it says like Lafayette, like it basically it's German for like the German Air Force during the time of like it was shut down obviously. Lawful like they'll be like, I can't believe like you're wearing like so like that the Nazi air fighters drove done that, and I was like, listen, I was an air cadet, like I wanted to be in the RAF because my dad was in the army. I like planes. I was born in Germany. I happen to like German history. But like, yeah, I had like honestly hundreds of the Jews came out to abuse me about that. And then like obviously like I had the black cross on a flag somewhere. Like people were going crazy, and I was like, what? I was like, it's a history thing, and oh, they just didn't. They went crazy. But yeah, um, it's because like whereas I do that, whereas Royce kind of just hides his power. Like he knows all this stuff, but like he just hides his power level, like you said. Um, and then he got fucked by YouTube, I reckon. I was in his Discord too. He's a really good guy. Royce is an amazing guy. Like Royce is like one of those guys like that you can talk to, and like he just is so nice. Like he's just a really cool dude. Like I got banned on Twitter, and like he had been following me, and I was gutted. And I think because like, and then I was just like really gutted and everything. And like then fucking because I was like, oh, like I had like hundreds of people following me, and I was like, I had fucking Revenge of the Sis and like Royce following me, and I was like, now they're gone. But like I joined the Facebook group and everything, but at the same time I was still gutted. And then finally, like just 2 days ago, Royce started following me on Twitter. I was like, yes, like my new Twitter. And then like he just always says like on Twitter and things like that, like how you doing, like he's just such a decent guy, he really is. Like I got one of their t-shirts and he put me on the front, see the intro, well Daywaves intro, it was the Daywaves intro, you know, and he had the picture of him wearing the clown hat for like being crazy, and then it was me, it was a picture of me with my hair was like all straight, so it wasn't like crazy looking, it was like straight blonde hair, and then I was wearing like the tight black top, and it says like Day Waves Freak Show, and it was like a picture of Royce wearing the clown's hat, and he had a photograph of me with all the music, you know, the beginning music and the end music, and then he'd done like all stars, and I was like, oh my god, like I'm in his intro. It was so cool, like I was so happy. Seriously, I was like, oh Royce, that's amazing, thank you. How you doing, Rubber Duck? I've not seen it. Your name's changed so many times. It's went from like Rubber Dub to Rubber Ducky. And like, oh, I've missed you. How you doing? Wait, my dad worked for IMB in this and knew this shit. Seriously, Barry Peace, that's pretty cool. I meant Rich with the Discord comment. Never talked to Royce, but it seems like. Oh yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, Rich is an amazing guy. Like Rich is like so down to earth. Like he doesn't like even when he had like fucking thousands of like followers and shit. Like he's so down to earth. But yeah, Royce is a really cool guy. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like Rich is a really cool guy as well. But I miss him like because I kind of get a hold of him. Like you'll need to help. Somebody needs to help me with his YouTube thing so I can follow him. And Barry, please, you'll need to tell me what's going on. The last century was written by psychopathic 3 minutes unraveling their guilt. It is very true, very true. See, you all know the truth. Like, you all know. Daywave is great, Royce does great. Yeah, it's so good as well. You see, listening to it in the morning, and like, you're like, I'll sit and it's like, gets you set up for the day. Especially since like the coronavirus. Now I can actually watch it, and like I said, see it, and like, it's so good. Yeah, but they totally did. Yeah, the Zionists founders black, and they still are. Like George Soros, like you just need to look. George Soros fucking literally has had meetings with like what was it? David Crocker was saying. Yeah, Jay Z has literally went over to the UK here and met with the royal family. Like, and I remember all that. He came with Beyonce. They met with the royal family. They were told how it works and all this shit and what's going on, like how they'd put. I mean, he knows like they covered for Jimmy Savile, all that shit, and that basically was they know like he's a pawn in this. Like Jay Z, like they would have used Kanye West if Kanye West hadn't went to Trump's side, but they used Jay Z. They use all their pawns, and the royal family's part of it. And the last time I'd said that, they literally cut my stream off, and then obviously it's the royal family, and then there's so many of the Zionists and down in London. I mean, so many. Like they literally, it's crazy. Scotland doesn't have that many, like because the media, like it's all English, and it's all Zionist controlled, and basically the royal family are completely disgusting Zionists, and but Jay-Z knows about all this bullshit. Like he literally knows about Epstein's shit and like the royal family and Prince Andrew, and it's all just disgusting. It really is. And yeah, Black Lives Matters is totally funded by the Zionists, and I can guarantee like that one of them would have been. I know that like George Soros would have been at some kind of meeting with one of them. Like they must know, so they all must know. Got secret sources. Got torn to secret sources and it got banned. This is what I mean. Like that's what happened to me last time. Like secret sources like she'll not email each other, but like literally see the last time like I'd been talking back and forth to secret sources, and I must have done one too many, and they just go and look at my old. It was like at Marielle something like I'll even put it into the link. And literally nothing I said was bad. It was the most tame shit ever. And I used to say some real fucked up shit like that, like I do now because I just don't care. But like on Twitter, and they literally just banned me. It wasn't for 30 days. It wasn't for anything, and just did not tell me why. I can't even get into the account to read the emails. Can't get in at all. So I just made a new one. That's a shame though, Barry. Press F for Barry's Twitter. How's your back now? Yeah, like see, as long as I don't really walk or put like, well, I can walk, but like as long as I don't put too much stress on it. Like I've been taking ibuprofen, like see the super strength ones. I can't find them, but like basically, the super strength ibuprofen. I've been taking them, and just shit like that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's fucking see when it's a back problem, it can really last a long time. Do you know what I mean? Daywave has a good mix of subtle red pills mixed with absurd comic bullshit. Yeah, you're going to real shit and then randomly play the locomotive cut theme or something. Yeah, that's what I mean, and that's the way it should be, where you just drop like truth bombs, but then mix it in with like fun things, and that's how your channel doesn't get popped. Like it's really cool. Like it's good. He's funny as fuck, and plus they're a comedy show. So like whereas Davy Crockle, like he's a truthful movement or whatever you want to say. Same as like the Enigma report, like and the same as like what I'll do. Like so, I'm not a comedian. I just kind of like follow certain conspiracy theories or whatever. Like the only time I really get shut down like is basically if when I talk about the royal family and bring up proof, and then when I had like Dion sent me secret sources, she sent me this was just after the whole thing with Prince Andrew. Well, she sent me like the telephone. It was like the PDF of the Black Epstein's Black Book, and I was like on the stream live phoning up people like because most of the numbers were like all blocked. 3 years old, don't punch, and like so I was like phoning people up saying like and listening to their accents saying, yeah, are you like Tony Blair's assistant, like no, like whatever, and like just asking people. It was so funny on the stream, just pranking people. I love looking. Yeah, it's so true. Twitter's trash. Yeah, no, I know Twitter's trash, John. I only go on it to like cause shit and get people really angry, like because I'll like literally get people raging for no reason, and it's just funny. Well, I just laugh at it. I'm like, I just like seriously. It's like see on Facebook. It's somebody had wrote on Facebook in Revenge of the Sissies thing that said go into like a boomer chat room and say the Jews own all the banks and watch them spurg out. So like that's the kind of shit that I do. Like, and I was buckled when I read that comment. Sorry, I don't know your name, dude, but it was fucking hysterical. It's like I will literally just go into like a chat room like with like boomers and just say something like, yeah, you do know like that the Jews like literally own everything. They're the globalists, and like just something like. But I'm just like having a laugh and like. Even though it's true, but like I'll just say something like that and like, oh yeah, the Jews killed like all of the Americans in the USS Liberty, or Jews did 9/11, something like it's a joke, and like they go crazy and it's so funny. Should we be all more expressive about our sentiments and show faces? Like, well, listen, dispatches. I would never tell anybody to show their face. There's like people online. There was a whole big thing about I know Unwashed, and he basically was saying I've met him in person, and he was basically saying to people like that they need to show their face, but then he was saying to people that have been around like Way of the World and stuff, and he was trying to say Way of the World is like failing. Well, it's like, wait a minute, Way of the World has got fuck loads more subs than you, and it kind of but like. Anyway, I'm not going to get into fights with him anymore because I don't know if you remember, but there was a whole big thing with me and him. But the point is, like, I would never tell somebody to face dox themselves. He face doxed himself. I have my own opinions of why, and I'm not going to say it, but I think you all know why they'd feel like they had that kind of protection to be able to face dox. I'd already been face doxed. So my face was already out there and my family's. So the reason I face doxed myself and made the YouTube channel with my face shown was because I wanted all the hate and all of the shit to be thrown at me, not my family. Do you get me? They see when they face doxed me and all this shit in the online. They put my mother's address. I've not lived with my mother since I was like 15. Seriously. My dad died when I was 16. I'd been in care before that. And then I was going to be living with my dad. And then 2 days after my 16th birthday, my dad was dead. And yeah, like, so I've like always kind of lived myself or lived with an ex or whatever. So when that happened, that's why, do you get what I mean? So I would never tell anybody. It's dangerous. See, face doxing yourself, it's dangerous because then, especially in the UK, I mean, I already told y'all, like, I had the police at my house, like, basically, like, I mean, a guy that was half an hour away from me nearly went to prison for getting his pug to, see Kyle, and, and, like, they came to my house, and they were there for, like, 45 minutes, basically saying to me, like, so, like, what's your views on this, what's your views on that, like, then they told me I was radicalised, and I was trying to radicalise other people because of the way I look. They said that I'm basically acting like, like a siren, like, oh guys, look at me, come on, become a fascist just like me, like, and I was like, fuck off, like, they weren't being like that disgusting, but they weren't. And then they started asking me about like just my views on certain things, and it was really fucking pathetic. And I was like, look, what are you going to charge me with? Like, I want you at my house. But the thing is, in the UK, they can literally just make up a charge. They really can. So I was like actually really scared that I was going to go to prison, like, or jail even just for like a little while. And then finally, like, they fucking, they left, but they said that I'm on, like, they're going to be watching my YouTube channels and just to watch out. And I was like, yeah, okay, bye. Like, fucking, oh, and if you're watching, I think, what was the guy's name? Like, the guy with the dark hair, yeah, like, if you're watching, yeah, like, I hope you're enjoying it, like, because you're going to have to watch hours of me rambling on just so that you can try and catch me say something. Like me and my little racist chihuahua, like, it's not racist anyway, it just doesn't like choo-hoo-hoos. And honestly, need to be careful in the UK. Madonna, Mick Jagger. It's not so Gav Mains Clunky. Somebody was saying about different ones. Like my mum was telling me about there's these new sites. I can't even remember how to say them right. Sorry. Like she was like MeWe or something. I was like, I have no idea what that is. She says like there's MeWe and something else, and she's like, do you know about that? I was like, I have no idea. Cavalexposed.com. That's class. I think instant misdemeanors because they don't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Wave the World, like he's got over 100,000 subs. He's never showed his face, and he's from the UK, and he's been very careful. And also, he helped me out. You know, like he's done this thing where like people from Wave, like if you've like-minded people, basically, Wave the World. If you like, if you agree with our ideas, then basically you send him an email and say like where you're from, like. So, for example, I sent him an email and I said Scotland. You write your age, you write your name, and then I wrote where I live in Scotland. Then what he does is it's got this female basically. They look and they find someone that lives near you, and he sent me like 5 emails of like men and females that live near you. It's not like a dating app or anything. It's just a friends app. And like I got these emails like there was some girls that were like too young. They're like under and I was like, well, I don't really want to be hanging around and guys like too young. And then there was a couple of people like my age, so I was like, and then once you say yeah, like you can email them, it's like really cool. And but that Way of the World done that on his own back. Do you know what I mean? It was really fucking cool. Like so, I thought that was good because it kind of brings people together. Were you laughing at me? Must be a fascist. What? Who, like Bailey? You can see my ugliness, or you can see my ugliness on YouTube if you want. I'll put it out there so people can see me. And I know you're Barry Peace. I've seen you around for so long. I know you're not full of BS. You don't need to face docs. Yeah. Barry Peace, you don't need to. I am not telling anyone to face docs at all. I don't think it's a good idea. I think only if you want to if you're going to face docs yourself. I'm just telling you, be very fucking careful what you do, because the police, like I said, came to my house, and I know for a fact why they came. A certain somebody sent them because I mean, I've had this channel now for like well over a year. Police have never bothered me. Then all of a sudden, like somebody is like fucking making like accounts pretending to be me and like fucking getting like Ant's Medicine Man to like fucking telling him bullshit about me and like getting him riled up so that he goes on to Dusty Bogans and slates me and all this shit when he's like been told lies, and like he's just making up all this shit. And it's like, yeah, it's like, if you're like, I dumped you months ago, leave me alone, like. And but yeah, he's obviously like, if he even contacted my mum, and my mum was like, look, fuck off, like seriously, you're a complete stalker. Like I've got him on video like nearly crying, begging me not to leave him. It's like, oh my god, you're pathetic. And like fucking he tried to attack me, like to get my tablet off me, and I just was like, get the fuck back, like seriously. But yeah, it's just pathetic. Yeah, well, by the way, Barry, we're probably all on a list because the way they were talking was like, yeah, like we're going to be monitoring the situation. And I'm like, yeah, you've put me on a watch list, haven't you? They do. They've got like these lists for like terrorists, but they use it not for like, terrorists, actual like suicide bombers. Like, probably white supremacy is like the biggest problem. So, like, yeah, I'd be a terrorist. But then I'm kind of like, I even said to the police, I was like, by the way, I'm not like classed as white. Like, my mum's Irish. I said, so like, what, am I an Irish supremacist? And they were like, well, Irish people are white. I was like, well, that's not what Darwin said. Like, one of the guys, see, not the guy with the black hair, you know what I'm talking about, the other guy with the kind of light hair. Look it up. I told them both when they were here, I was like, look it up. Darwin said Irish people are not white, they're a different race. And both of them would have checked it out by now. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what happened. I mean, my ex phoned my mum and said, yeah, like she's got a YouTube channel going and looking at. But the thing is, my mum already knows like my views. Not she doesn't agree with like all of the something sympathizing, as she says, and she said that like the way she puts it was like it's the globalists, it's this, and the Zionists only have a small part in it, and I'm like, okay, and but like I love her, she's just still like getting there, but she doesn't agree with everything, but she doesn't like hate me for it, but like he told like this was like. Imagine phoning like my mum and like literally just stalker shit. Hi, David Furness. Like face docs or not, the government knows, but my employees, I don't need to know the people. That's it. That's it. Like literally, like see if I'm out or whatever. I'm like I'm talking to people. I don't say like, oh yeah, I've got a YouTube account, like because that would I know for a fact like I would get more subs, like because a lot of people agree with me. But at the same time, I'm like no, because then what if like my college found out, like if my college found out, I'd be fucked. I would be chucked out of my college course, things like that. And I'm like, so yeah, as you said, the fewer people that know, the better, 100%. Yeah, eat for eat. Well, remember all those things I done with the like I posted everywhere. It's okay to be white. That was enough to get me kicked out of college, 100%. And I've literally, because there's so many videos of me doing it in Scotland, I even made the paper. One of them made the paper saying like, how could the person who had done this even have that thought in their head? It is disgusting. Could you imagine you wrote "It's okay to be black" and like people were saying how disgusting it was? Like, and you know who runs the media or who runs like the newspapers to say that they're not white people. So like, fuck you. You're saying that against a different race. Like, just saying it's okay to be white. How is that? How is that a disgusting thing? But yeah, that would get me kicked out of college. So I need to be careful. Big Dick, you need to watch this stream. Like, I was just talking about like a lot of stuff. Like, yesterday, Davy Crocco's thing. It was brilliant, and just different things like that. It's good to see Big Dick in. Irish is a political collaborative Monica. Yeah, no, the thing is, Dispatcher, the people that made Darwin is the one that said Irish people are the race of their own. Darwin came out with this, like nobody else had said this. It'd never been, oh, Irish people aren't white until Darwin decided to say that. And then it's like nobody knows about it though. But like apart from like all over in America when they had like no blacks, no dogs, no Irish, like and it was like that was all because of Charles Darwin. But like all they talk about is like, oh, Darwin done this and like he talked about this and this and this and it's like, yeah, but he also was very fucking racist to like Irish people and like other people, like Negroes as he said, and just crazy things like that. Like and he basically categorized each race. But nobody knows about that. Like if you go to where he lives and where he lived, sorry, like he's got a museum and like you go into the museum and like you can ask like, well, where's the stuff about all the race? And like they're like, what are you talking about? We don't know. And I'm like, you'll show them online like that he wrote that, and then the museum people will be kind of like, yeah, look, we don't like actually advertise that. Sorry, John. It is addictive. Like, see when you go like that and you see somebody, it's like, see if I'm watching TV and I see somebody smoke. It makes me want a ciggy as well. On see Davy Crocco as well. He was talking about True Detective yesterday, like on his stream about the life reset thing. He was talking about True Detective. I fucking love True Detective. Not series two. That was bullshit. Series one with I just loved it, and about like they were talking about how Matthew McConaughey turned around and said, "What do you think life would be like if like people didn't believe in God?" And the other guy, who's what's his name? I always forget his fucking name. He's brilliant. Oh, what the fuck's his name? He's got the blonde hair. He turned around and said, "Oh, I don't like." He didn't know. And like Matthew McConaughey was like, "It'd be fucking anarchy. People be running around mad." No, no, sorry. The guy with the blonde hair turned around and says, "It would just be exactly the same." And Matthew was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? It would be anarchy. Like people would be running around, stabbing each other, going fucking crazy." So then, like the guy with the blonde hair turned around and says, "What? So if," he said, if all it takes is for people to like behave themselves basically and act moral, is for them to believe that in the afterlife, like there's some kind of like God, Jesus, whoever, like what religion you believe in." He said, "Then these people are fucking animals, and I think you should have them all out." Like you can see it if you'd seen it on True Detective, it was brilliant. And but Davey got to read it out. And the second he read it, I was like, "Oh, I need to see True Detective again." It was brilliant. Races are created and destroyed every generation. I would celebrate that Darwin made Irish their own people. Yeah, that's what I do. I actually do like that, but they hide it. That's what pisses me off. Dispatchers. Like I like the fact that he done it. I don't like what he said about the Irish, but I like the fact that he done it. But it's like annoying because, as I said, it's like they erased it from history. You know how they can just whitewash as like people of color or whatever, say people of color. They kind of, well, it would be jaywashed it. I don't know. They made it. They washed it out of history, but you can find it. It's not that hard, but they fucking hid it. It pissed me off. I do celebrate it. It's just the fact that like yeah, like you can't. The only signs that I saw when I was a child was the signs like the pictures, and it was to show you about black people and black things, and like look, no blacks, and look, no blacks, no Irish, no dogs. I always remember that from school, like, and I was kind of like, well, but why no Irish? Oh, it doesn't matter. Back to black people. Back to black people. It's like fuck off. You missed the vaping. All lives matter. Kind of cringe when shit. Yeah, the thing is, like, when people say like that whole all lives matter thing, I'm like, but do they? Do they? Like, are you telling me that a paedophile's lives matter? Are you telling me that like if you've got like a paedophile, black, white, whatever color, I don't care, and then you've got like somebody that is like a good guy, like or woman, a good person, like are you telling me you wouldn't want that paedophile, like that's that complete horrible sex offender that is fucking raping and multiple children every single day, and when a child gets raped, shut up. Sorry, the dog. The ripple effect of like it going on, like, and it just they'll never get over that, and it just fucks them up for life, like. And then some of them turn into abusers themselves, and then that's what I'm talking about, the ripple effect. So like, if you tell me that a pedo's life matters, I'm saying it's not. Do you know what I mean? Like, um, yeah, exactly. All races matter makes more sense. That is true. Like, you're all saying some really good stuff. I didn't think of it like that before. Barry Pease, you're so smart though. You always kind of think of things in the end. But listen, this is me being nearly an hour, so I'm gonna sign off the now. But like I said, like if anyone can donate, that would be great. If not, thank you for watching. It's just good to be able to stream, to do something every day. See, like with this whole controvirus thing. And thank you, and please sign up to my other accounts or whatever you can do. That would be great. And you're all like amazing, and thank you so much. And say bye to Bailey, and I can't say all your names because there's like that many, but I hope to speak to you soon, and I'll be streaming later. I'll put out like before, like when I stream, and then obviously you can see me. But I'll speak to you later. Bye. Oh, and please like try and share this stream around. Right, thanks. Bye bye.